there were people that said the S&P wasn't even going to make $60 again for a decade. That's why in the GFC, everyone said expect a decade of low returns. And I saw countless models. People said, well, inflation's going to be weak and GDP, and so it'll take forever to get to $60 in earnings again. Well, the S&P 3 years later had $90 in earnings. And, and now earnings are expected to be $280. Okay. So we've gone from $60 to $280 in 14 years. Why do people suddenly think earnings are going to peak at 280? I mean, S&P earnings, is going to be over $1,000 per share in the near future. And I know it sounds incredible, but one of the things driving this, and we've written about it for our clients since 2018, is that the world is running out of prime age workers. So we have population growth, but it's growing faster than the number of people that actually can work. That difference in population means instead of paying wages, you have to pay a company to produce a machine for output. Okay, so that money is recycled into the S&P. By the end of this decade, it's almost $4 trillion a year in wages that are no longer paid to people, but to another company. If it's AI related, that could mean NVIDIA's revenue could be $1 trillion by the end of the decade. And NVIDIA's revenues are 100 billion right now. So NVIDIA itself could be a 10x. I mean, I think people are unimaginative when they don't realize they're not looking back far enough. In 2008, people didn't think S&P earnings would get back to $60 for a decade. So that's 2018. They didn't think we'd be back at $60.
Alright guys, this is the part of the video where I'm going to break down the stocks that were mentioned in the clip with Tom Lee. He was talking about the S&P is going to have $1,000 in earnings per share in the near future. He's also saying that NVIDIA should 10x by the end of the decade. So we'll briefly break down both of those stocks, guys. If this is your first video, the blue line is the 45-day moving average and the green line is the 200-day moving average. So first we'll start with the S&P 500. You can see we've been on an amazing uptrend. We've bounced perfectly off this ascending white line, and now we've come back to it. This sell-off looks exactly like this sell-off, and look what happened right after we touched it. We chugged around for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, made it a nice support level, and then bam, up to the upside, nice higher highs and higher lows. That is a very nice uptrend that comes after a downtrend, guys. I don't see why it wouldn't happen again, as long as we can hold this ascending uptrend for the foreseeable future. NVIDIA, he's saying, is going to go from $100 billion in revenue per year to over $1 trillion per year by the end of the decade. That's another 10x from here, guys, and I also drew an ascending white trend line on this chart. We tried to break through it, came back above, confirmed it was a support, and then look at the move after. And now we're on a pullback right back to it. We wicked it down 2 days ago on Thursday, and now we're holding again. So I wouldn't be surprised to have a little couple shakeout days to come back and touch it again at the very least to continue a move just like this. Nothing fundamentally changed with NVIDIA, guys. This story is going to be the same. They're sold out for the next several years. They still have the best chips. They're still making the best chips. They still have the best technology. Everything is still in play. We're just on a nice buying opportunity right now, in my opinion. And the closer we get to this white line, the better it's going to be. Look what happens right after we touched it. We broke right above, and look at this amazing run. I don't see why it wouldn't happen again as long as we can hold this white ascending trend line, guys. You can see back in history when we broke under the 45-day moving average, we didn't hold it for very long, and now we're under it. And look right here, as soon as we broke through it, we had a major wick day almost back up to it, and then the next day we gapped up but sold all the way back off. So we're trying to get back to that 45-day moving average already. So NVIDIA is starting to look bullish even though we're having all red days. I think we're going to look back in history and see this as another perfect buying opportunity. These sell-offs are more or less identical. We made a double top here. We had a support. We flushed through the support, and then we instantly came back. We more or less had a double top here. We had a support. We broke through the support, and now we'll see in the future if we're going to play back out exactly like this, guys, but I don't see why it wouldn't. NVIDIA is in one of the best positions you can possibly be in right now for the next several years. Remember, these are just my thoughts and opinions, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and the breakdown. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.